In today's crafty clip, we're going to be showing you how to make this background, something that I've shown quite a lot of the cards and been doing a lot of workshops on, and such a lot of interest has been shown, and so I thought I'd show you how to do it. So all of the products that are going to be using today are going to be available on the website with the Crafty Clips selection. I will go through everything as we go to show you what is available. So this is the finished article, and I'm going to show you how to make it from scratch. You first of all need to decide what size card you're going to start on, and this one is an 8x8. I found that was a better size to show off everything, so an 8x8 it is. So first of all, I've taken a piece of mirror card and I've cut that so that is just on the outside there. 19 by 19. I've then taken a square die so that I've made this into a frame. So you can see here I've cut this out and made that into a frame. And then the waist of it, the centre of it, I've then cut out with a simple ordinary oval die, but you could have any shape. And the main thing is, as long as the actual aperture that it cuts out is finished with, that is actually a clear line all the way around. You can get stitched and things like that, but the stitches need to be only on the inside bit that you cut. It can't be on the outside, because you need a clear line all the way around. I've used the mirror card because I find that the tools that you use, the daubers or the brushes or the blending brushes, whatever you use to make your aperture, really slide off nicely from this. You can buy Mylar card, which is what stencils are made of. It's very expensive, and this way this lasts quite a long time, and if it doesn't, I just cut another piece of mirror card. The other trick I would say is to make sure that your aperture has enough room around the outside to be able to blend with, because if you have just a very thin edge, you're going to get your ink into places on the card where you really don't want it. So I'm choosing an oval in this case, but you can choose any different colour, any different size that you would like. I'm also using Super Smooth Stamping Card by John Next Door, all onto the Crafty Clips collection today. It really is better to be able to blend with. It's brilliant for stamping, and that's what we're going to do as well. So the combination of the two is ideal. And you may have noticed in the background, I've got the Wendy Vici Make Art Station. Now, if you're into stencils or you like doing this sort of thing, it's absolutely fantastic instead of having to use the repositional tape. So when I put my stencil into place here, let's pop that one down, I can move that about to anywhere I want to be, and I just take these really strong magnets and just hold that into place like that, and that's not going to go anywhere. You can obviously tape if you don't have such a thing, but I found that this magnetic thing is just perfect for this. These magnets are really strong, but unlike a lot of other magnets, when you put them together, instead of then having to prise them apart with a knife, they just simply fall apart, so they're fine. So you need to position your template stencil right in the center, and gives you a good working area. I could, if I wish, put more things on, but I like to have a bit more room to play with. So then, which ink do we use? Dye blending ink is what we need to use. So we could use something like this, the Eyes Ink ones, or I've got the Wendy Vici Make Art ones, blendable inks, or the Distress Oxides, Distress inks, whichever. They cannot be pigment inks. They won't blend so well onto the card. They really need to be a dye-based ink. You can choose just one colour, as I was showing you in my sample, which is the blue one. So this one was just made with the Eyes Ink Mer de Sud, just that one colour. But today I'm going to show you how to make the effect with the Distress inks. So I'm going to take these away. And I'm going to bring in the 3 distress inks that I'm using, which are Fired Brick, Scattered Straw and Squeezed Lemonade. I'm going to be using one of the large sponge daubers, but you could use any sponge dauber that you like, or a brush, or whatever is your favourite thing for blending. So we need to make some clouds first. So I'm going to take this die set, which is the Leanne Creatives Background Dies Landscape. So why I liked this was it comes with a selection of various different dies of backgrounds, landscapes. So you've got clouds, you've also got mountains and a bit of water, a bit of grass. So there's lots of different things that you could choose from. And the other reason why I like this one is because they are small clouds. You can get other cloud dies in various different makes, but I found that their clouds are a little bit bigger, and as I'm working on a smaller thing, I wanted them to be small. You could, of course, cut them out by hand, but that's up to you entirely. I'm not very good at that either, so I've gone for this die set. So what I've done is I've taken one of the dies and I've cut that out onto another piece of mirror card. I've given myself enough room down the bottom here so that I can blend and not go off the page onto my card that I'm actually working with. And the crucial things is to make sure that you have got your die edge to edge. You don't want an extra bit on the end or anything, because that will possibly then come out. So you simply need to place that cloud thing over your aperture, and you will find that as you go further down and the aperture gets wider, you will need to just make sure that as you move it down, you are not going to move it like that, because if you did, you will find that this pattern will come out and you won't really like the finished effect of that. So I'm going to start off at the top, and I'm going to take my Fired Brick, and let me just take the lids off of this. And I'm just going to ink up with some of the Fired Brick, and I'm going to just blend this onto my first bit. So I'm working that into the paper like that. Then I'm going to move my piece of clouds down, and I'm going to just slightly turn it. If you continue to go like that, the same place all the way down, it would look a bit odd. So if you just turn it very slightly, take up a bit more of the Distress Oxide, and then work that bit in as well. So I'm going over the first one as well, and then I'm going to come down a little bit more, just making sure that the edges are still on the aperture here, and I'm just going to work that in like that. Then I've got a spare piece of card because I want to take most of the colour off of that so that I haven't got any more. I'm going to just twist that round very slightly, and then I'm going to go for the Scattered Straw. Take some of that up, and then I'm going to do exactly the same. And so I'm blending from the scattered straw into the Fired Brick so that I'm getting an orangey colour as I go along. I'm going to move that over slightly, and I'm just going to do that once more. So you can see that as you're not blending into the darker colour anymore, it is changing slightly. And a little bit like that. Again with this one, with the Scattered Straw, and I'm finally going to finish up with the Squeezed Lemonade to the final little bit down here. So I'm again just making sure that the edges are okay, they're all on the edge, and keep coming down until the final bit. Take that away and just rub that bit in. Okay, so when you've actually finished, you can just get an ordinary kitchen towel and just wipe off onto this piece of mirror card, and it will take all of the ink off. And that's again a beauty of it, that it can be used quite a few times. The only time it's going to get ruined really is if you bend it in any way. So I'm going to take the inks away. So they were these Distress Oxides. And we've now finished with that part there. And when we take that off, we've got that lovely aperture there. So then I have simply got some of the stamping platforms here, and I've already made up both of them just to be able to show you quickly. So I've got the 2J's Company Peter's Tree, and I'm going to place my card there, and you can see that that has just been positioned. I'm going to use some archival black ink just to stamp up my tree and position that onto there. And we just do that a couple more times. That's the beauty of the stamping platform. I was a stamper primarily, and I never thought I needed such a thing because luckily I didn't have a problem with keeping stamps in the right positions. But I found ever since that this is the best thing to be able to make sure that you've got your work in position and that it's as crisp as you want it to be. So, there we go. Okay, oops. I will have that little bit properly. Thank you very much. So, I've then positioned some other stamps. So I've got a happy birthday sentiment. I'm afraid I don't have that one on the website. It's one that is no longer made anymore. So that's a shame, but unfortunately I don't have that. But I'm sure that you'll be able to find other things that you have. So I've got a happy birthday sentiment, and I've also got 3 little birds which are from Nellie Snellen, which again are on the website, and I think they just finish the card off nicely. So I'm just pressing the happy birthday and the birds into position, and there we have it. There is the finished card. So then when you've got your frame, you can just frame that over the top like I did with that one and finish that off. Okay, so as I said, all the things are on the website under the Crafty Clips collection of the things that we've used today. Any shape will work. Do have a practice with any shape. Got some lovely round ones here. So I did a double one where I just overlapped. Different colour, different stamp, but it just gives a very good effect, and I hope you enjoy making them as much as I did showing you. Thanks for watching today.